Hey guys, Loot Wizard here with another video on Gems of War, and in this one I wanted to show you the team that I used this week to get to rank or tier 1 in the ranked battles in PvP. This team is also really great for Green Day on Guild Wars events because all the troops in this team are green. So that's a bonus as well. So this team uses the Essence of Evil weapon, which is a really great weapon that you can get for free in the game simply by equipping the Plague Lord class and winning 250 battles. Now, this weapon is really great because it inflicts all negative status effects on an enemy, and then it will also explode about 20 gems of their mana color. So it will generate mana and it will inflict all those negative status effects, which is really devastating to an enemy. Now, some troops are immune to certain of these negative status effects, so that's something to look at before you cast it on that enemy. But in general, you will be applying lots of negative status effects to pretty much any troop. Now, in the second place, I am using a mythic troop that I don't use that often, really, but in this team, it works fantastic, and that is Yasmin's Chosen. Now, Yasmin's Chosen does about 50 damage randomly split amongst enemies, boosted by entangled enemies, and it creates 10 green gems. Now, creating those 10 green gems is going to be incredibly useful since this is an all-green team. Also, when fully traded, it entangles a random enemy when you match green. And in the third spot, we have one of the most powerful mythics, Tina 9000, which does true damage 3 times to 3 different enemies or to the same enemy 3 times if there is only one enemy remaining. When fully traded, it has a good reduction of spell damage, and it also adds armor to its skull damage. Well, also when you cast it, it does gain about 50 armor, so it's pretty tanky. But we're going to be using it mainly for its ability to do a lot of true damage. Now, in the fourth spot, we do have the Leprechaun Troop, which is going to be a mana generator in the beginning of the match. Also, throughout the match, it will help us generate more green mana, or not generate, but it will allow us to accumulate more green mana simply because it has Nature Link, which gives us a bonus to green gem matches. I am using the Summer Banner, which gives me 2 green, but with the Leprechaun Nature Link, I will be getting 3 green every time I match as a bonus. And then I have 2 purple for Yasmin's Chosen. As for the class, I'm using Titan, but you can use other classes with this setup as well. So let's get right into the battle, and I will show you how it works in action. So we got lucky right off the start here with a 4 match of green. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Now when we explode our Leprechaun, it will be exploding green gems, which that will go right into our weapon. And it will also, as you can see, it generated some mana for our Yasmin's Chosen, and it got over half of Tina full. Now, when we cast our Essence of Evil weapon, it will also generate more mana, so Yasmin's Chosen or Tina will probably be full after we cast this. Now, this is the tricky part, is that you need to choose wisely which ones you want to inflict all of the negative status effects upon. And I think I'm going to be going for the Satyr here because once that gets full, it's going to silence the first 2 enemies, and I don't want my weapon to be silenced up here because that's a main part of our team. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that guy, and we'll look to see if there's any 4 or 5 matches. And I could connect this skull, but Tina will be doing more damage than the skull will do, and also this already has barrier, and this is entangled, so I'm not concerned about the enemy connecting that skull. So I'm going to use Tina here, and as you can see, it eliminated that 1 troop in 1 hit, and that was because of the negative status effects. It had Fairy Fire on it, which allows the spells that you do to do 50% more damage. Now, we're going to go ahead and use Yasmin's Chosen here, which generated enough green mana for my weapon to get full again. And now I will cast this on their hero weapon here. And one of the things, if you have this weapon fully upgraded, it does have a 10% chance to turn the first enemy troop into a giant toad, which that's what happened. Now, sometimes that can actually work against you, but at least it no longer is a threat to you. So now what we're going to do is cast our Yasmin's Chosen once again. And now remember, when Yasmin Chosen is being cast, it is also doing damage as well as creating those 10 green gems, which will help out a lot in finishing off your enemies. So what works great here, since I have the Titan class, is that if I don't have green to match, I look for brown, because the brown is going to fill up my Yasmin's Chosen, and while giving barrier to my weapon at the same time. And in this case, I could choose to use my weapon again. And we're going to go ahead and hit Luna, since that is a dangerous troop. Now, one of the things that you can see here that it didn't work on Luna there, and that is because Luna has some kind of resistance to those effects. But let's go ahead and cast Tina. And Tina finished him off beautifully. So yeah, all the extra green mana that is generated from Yasmin's Chosen really floods into your weapon, and it also overflows right into your Tina 9000, which is the bread and butter of your damage of this setup. But like I mentioned, Yasmin's Chosen also is doing quite a bit of damage, because you will probably cast it an average of like 3 times every battle you have, because it fills up so quickly. And, you know, so that will be doing about 150 damage to the enemy, which really does help. And then you will be finishing off enemies with Tina 9000. And also, this here at the top, when it inflicts these negative status effects, usually it will also inflict Hunter's Mark to the enemy. Now, if you use it on the first enemy at the top, and it inflicts that Hunter's Mark, then it will do 50% more skull damage. So you're going to have to take your attack damage and not double it, but you know, add 50% there to that. That will a lot of times finish off that top enemy as well. So there you have it, guys. That's the team that I used this week to get to tier 1 in ranked PvP, and it was pretty smooth. I only lost maybe 3 battles out of about 30 or so when I was doing ranked PvP with this team. So I thought I'd share this team with you guys, and like I mentioned earlier, it is also a great team for Green Day on Guild Wars. So thanks for listening, guys, as always, and later.